So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, from wherever you have joined me today. I'm so glad that everyone has been able to make today. Thank you very much. I'm going to make a significant announcement, which I think so. It's very exciting. So let me go through it. I hope you can hear me and my slides.
The button move it, you know, button move it. No, button move it. My other thing,
All right. So just an announcement, the meeting is being recorded, and please introduce yourself through the chat function and write down your email, your name, and whatever activities you are doing so that others can know about you. And there might be also some photos which we will be taking, so be mindful of that. And it is a public meeting, so please mute yourself, and whenever you take the floor, please allow you unmute and speak. So thank you very much for being here, everyone. As you all already know me, I'm Dr. Renuka Thakore, founder of Global Sustainable Futures Progress Through Partnership Network. And today's agenda is that I will do some update, and then we will hear a talk by Ben Willingson, who will be talking about the what is the green tech space nowadays and what people are looking for, like especially from the employer's point of view. And then we will hear from Dr. Chidi Maduka. He had already delivered 2 sessions on mental health, and this time he will continue with the 3rd session. And this is a series, so probably it will be every month one episode of mental health. So if you are interested in this, please attend his series. And then maybe we will if the time permits, and also we will be looking at upcoming opportunities. So thank you very much for being here, and I will continue now. First of all, again, I want to remind you that whoever are new here and who may not have visited our vision and objectives, because we do not have a website at the moment, web pages, they are being created by one of our partners, and so we will be publishing soon. But we have this video, so just in case if someone asks you about GSFN, what is it, and so on, then you should put this link to them so that they know what it is. Okay. And I'm very proud to say that we have 2,600 coordinators in 145 countries. So really it's growing, and that's why I have thought about something today, which I will share with you. And I hope it is exciting for everyone. Before going to that, I want to also tell this competition which we are supporting. One of the CEO at the CEO at Yellow Dog, they are cloud computing firm, and they have come up with a donation of 500K worth US dollars cloud computing capacity, and we are supporting this donation by disseminating it to the global south, so that anyone who is doing any project and they might be thinking that that project is not going ahead due to just cloud computing facility, then they should come forward and apply for such this application. The only thing is that this competition is for a limited time. The license will expire by 10th of April. And so everyone has to finish the project by this time. However, we are also looking forward to having more capacity and more such donation from this yellow dog. Also, I would like to add here that we have made it open not only for carbon reduction projects, but any project that might be having a good impact on humanity. And it has plenty of capacity to do data analysis or whatsoever you want to do. I'm not an expert in cloud computing, so I can't say what. But if you have any questions, please forward to us so we can, answer you. And we assume that this capacity can support 10 to 15 projects, and therefore we are looking for such projects. So at whatever you know and whatever you feel that might be accommodated, please fill out the form so we can come back to you that you have something in mind, and we can continue with such support from them. Also, I would like to, which I mentioned just now about the partner, we are partnering with Community of Guardians here, and they are going to create our web pages. We are also going to have several programs on this, but once they are finalized, I will let you know. So here, this is the exciting thing I wanted to share with you. I have realized from these 2 years, after the very successful 2 years, I would say, I have come to a point where I think I should reward you back. And what that everyone was asking about the structure and some position and many other things, but I was thinking of structure where I can provide some equality, some responsibility, and not so much as a duty type of thing. And you would be excited about it. And thinking a lot about it, I have come up with a structure where each GSFN coordinator who has joined with us will be given a title chair. And how we will recognize this title? What will happen that we have 4 domains. This all my analysis of our coordinators has shown, and that is why I'm proposing this model. So what will happen that we have 4 domains: research, academic, entrepreneur, which is equivalent to business. So whoever are in business, they will be called entrepreneur, and who are in public domain or working with community. So these are 4 wide domains, which broad domains, I can say, which can be allotted to any one of, like anyone can be accommodated in one of these domains. So research, academic, entrepreneur, community. Having said that, also, before going there further, we have this SDG as our main distribution also, that SDG 1, SDG 2. So when you you must be remembering that when you filled up GSFN form, we already had SDG 1, SDG 2, putting you that in which you are interested. But here we would like you to think about the main SDG which you are connected. Okay, so for example, if I'm in education, I would write SDG 4. If you are in waste, then that would fall into SDG 6. That is what I feel. So first, we will decide on SDG number, whichever you are. Then we will decide on the domain. Then we will decide on the your subcategory or main category. So maybe waste is your main category. Okay. So here I am proposing a cascading structure. So, and then we will also have layers. So your activity, if your activity is on a global level, then it will be global. If you are at country level, then it is country. If it is regional level, then it is regional. Then city level, then some part of the city, if it is, then city region level. And it can be the smallest unit, like your house, your home, or your community, or your neighborhood. And any sort of the unit you may come up with. So starting from any of these will be applicable to you, okay? So, but this will not discriminate your level of responsibility, or we do not want you to think that if you are at global level, you are superior, or if you are at a community level or a university level, you are not superior. So please do not take that into consideration. This is just to give you a title which is unique for you. Okay, so we will have domain, we will have level, we will have SDG number, and then we can also have a subcategory and subcategory. So anyone would have, for example, GSFN Global Academic Chair for SDG. Okay, so for example, SDG City Entrepreneur Chair, and then waste plastic collection, or maybe disposal, or manufacturing, or whatever. So, or at academic level, or university level, at a school level. So I want each one to be a chair taking their own responsibility and contributing to these SDGs. Okay, and then we will be very, very mindful of equity, diversity, and inclusion, which means that each one chair will be again supported, or I would say, no, not supported, but will be in pair. So it can be she, he, and T, but sorry, I, it, but they would be either 2 or 3 at the same position. So one will be she, one will be he or it. And so we want everyone to be inclusive at that. So for at a global level, if I have a chair of SDG 6, waste collection and that, then I want he and she, or like equal opportunity to given to the, and so that we can contribute to gender inequality immensely. And I would say that if, for example, here I have Michael Rada, and if he's taking a global chair for waste, then I would like him to nominate, or to go approach, not nominate, but approach someone who can be equally equivalent to them, so that we have both, like we do not have any gender inequality throughout our structure. So that is what I want here. Also, do not worry whether that person is senior or junior or anything. We are not worried about that, because we will make each other so comfortable, or we will have full support from whole network, just as we already have. And there is no superiority or inferiority in seniority and like early career. Each one can be opportunity, like each one can have opportunity for one another, in a way that if someone is pairing with me, I can mentor. So that is an opportunity for me to mentor, and that person who is learning can have an opportunity to learn. So probably we are looking to share the opportunities, not to have any problem with our diversity. So that is what I think. We should have the full support for that. within it, same applies to different culture, different country, and everything. And finally, even if we think that someone is like less accessible, then let us bring them in our group and make our group as accessible as possible. So we will try to balance all these as we go forward. And finally, I know that many of you have already got this award. So at the end of 2023, we will be again giving such awards. So please connect with us and be proud of these awards. Wherever you put your title, you can put that award also with your title, and you can symbolize yourself achieving something as an achiever to others. And here I have put this form, which I will tell you, I will distribute it through our Google group email, which will ask you the very same questions which you first fill up for joining GSFN. But here there is a little difference, because I want to then, depending on what answers you give me or responses you give me in the form, I will create such label for you. This can be then displayed everywhere, wherever you go, wherever you want to. So we will write down first SDG on the top, whichever the SDG you belong to, we will put there. Then we will have our symbol, then we will have your photo. We will also have this badge if you have achieved last year. And then we will have this all name, like, for example, as I mentioned here, GSFN, then the domain, that is research at global level, then maybe chair, global, and then chair, and then maybe waste, plastic collection. So depending on your main activity, we can allow everyone to be chair of their own and carry out their activities. And you will be free to nominate as many chairs as you want, depending on your activities then. Probably if Michael Rada is on a global level and he wants to nominate several country level chair, then it would be definitely, I would definitely invite that to do it. So, and this way we will be able to grow, we will be able to actually put something back to the community and towards these SDGs. And I think that would be immensely powerful structure to do. And now I will stop here for a minute just to hear any comments if you have, and then invite Ben Williamson to talk about today's green tech employment area. So I will stop for a while. And any comments if you have.
Dr. Renuka, Ernesto here from Ottawa, Canada. I fully support the suggestions made, and it will, I think, about time that we turn this particular organization into a high-level organizations and trying to improve on the perceptions and I think the status on the global scenario of SDG. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm reading here one comment from Michael Rada, and he's saying, but I will not change my title. We'll stay with human. Why not? You can do your own stuff. This is an extra bit you are getting. Right?
Hello, Dr. Renuka.
Yes.
I just wanted to mark that each one will have just one SDG to contribute to as a chair, right?
Yeah, I believe, but we can do multidisciplinary work, because
Okay.
then we can say that, okay, chair 6 has joined the activity with chair 5, and this has turned up into this. I don't mind all multidisciplinary thing, but the thing is that you will get a unique title. I always wanted to think about a unique title which will make you proud of it, and that is what I came up with. So of course, you can put yourself in one big, but definitely you can contribute to all other SDGs. That is not a barrier or something like that you can't.
Yes, sure. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. And good luck. It's a very good idea. Thank you.
Yeah. I thought people can be proud of having such title, because when I got this award, I was really proud, and it changed my thinking. It changed my responsibilities toward achieving, like doing activities and so on. And same could happen to others. I want you to be achiever. You know, you all have given me so much in these 2 years that I thought there should be some way to reward you back. And I feel this is really good opportunity, or maybe a structure where we can all do that. And you are not rewarding me, you are rewarding yourself, and you are rewarding to the community.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Uche. I just want to add a bit of substance to what Dr. Renuka have said about multidisciplinary integration. This is where the world is going into now. We are no more in isolation. It's an integrated approach to solving what's problem. So multiple integration is a criteria. In fact, in some of the bidding that you have to apply for, you must show a multidisciplinary connection with other disciplines that will help your research, because you're trying to solve humanitarian problem, you're trying to solve a climate problem. So it is not a one size fits all. Everybody must have a stake and contribute to it. So I think I quite appreciate how you have brought about the SDGs and other multi-dimensional attitude to it. So well done. I would commend you on that.
Thank you very much. And you are very true. Not only multidisciplinary in subjects, but we need to, engage with businesses. We need to engage with this government. I mean, any authority. It may be local, it may be global, any type of authority. So we need to, and the community itself. So I think what we are doing here is going to be substantially important this year, whatever we are going to do. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, follow Rujo.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, sorry, I'm in a place where my camera is not that clear, so that's why I'm not live on my camera. Once again, thank you, Doctor, for this wonderful initiative at which you just, you brought, you just like, you've given me more, should I say more motivation to carry out my activities. As you know, I'm a community-based community worker right from time. I've been doing a lot of work in the community and the rural environment. So this topic is something that we always want to be a part of, so that at least to help the environment. And since we've been talking about climate change and renewable energy here, which the plastic aspect and recycle aspect is also part of it, the collection and everything, I think is something that I key into it. And we need all necessary support to make sure that we give results for this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And until now, what has happened, here someone has already mentioned, and that is always doubting me also, that if someone else wants to join our network, how they can join. And I have been always inviting, like wherever I go to speak like this, I just put my invitation to people and they join. And now, because you are the chair, you will be able to disseminate these, like, because sometimes you know what happens that oh, I'm just coordinator, why should I do this? But now you are the chair. If you want to invite people to your own activity or to the global activity, or if you want to pass it to someone else, oh, here I have an expert, please take him or her, then it is going to be now your job to increase our capacity on this. If everyone can open their video, I can take a photo just now. It's really nice to have a picture. Yes, I'm full screen now, and then I can take a picture. I will wait for everyone to open their video. Wonderful. So 3, 2, and 1. I'll take one another. Thank you. So just let me put in a safe place. And any other comment or any other concern? Otherwise, we are ready to go.
Yes, I have a comment, Doctor.
Yes.
And, good day, everyone. My name is Johnson.
Yeah.
I must commend your audacious effort to see that we put into work all our talkings all this while. We've had several amazing engagements on this platform, and it's like we are putting them into action real time now. And you will agree with me that humanity needs this kind of action at this peculiar time. I will like to appreciate if you can articulate this structure, put it into something like a document, then communicate it to us.
1 second, please. Someone is trying to join and they can't join, so I will put the link. And 1 second. Sorry about that. He's a speaker, so I don't know why there were 2 links actually, and I put a wrong link. I don't know why, but now please, sorry, continue. I heard up to what you said. You can continue, please.
So in conclusion, I was trying to admonish you if you can please articulate this new structure that you proposed so that we can better digest it, and also please let us ensure we really do this. This is very important, not just to us, to humanity as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to share the slides with you, and I'm going to share the form with you. And as we go, we will speak about it, and I'm sure you will know more about it. It is very simple. And with the form, I have made very clear to put what you want, and then I will issue these certificates as we go. Certificates or batches, I can say, as we go forward. Okay. And I would definitely like, I will also share inviting invitation text, which you can use to invite people for our network. And that would be also really good. So I will do my homework, and then you can do your homework. Thank you. Okay, now any other comment, or we can then go with the talk? Fine. Thank you very much, everyone. And Ben, please welcome to the stage and take the floor. Do you want to share any slides, or are you going to just speak?
Hi, yeah, I didn't get a chance to put any slides together, so...
Don't worry, please introduce yourself and then you can talk about your subject today.
Thank you very much. I am Ben Williamson. I work with a small recruitment agency in the UK based in the Midlands near Nottingham, or in Nottingham even. For the last sort of 6 years, well, since my my MD set the business up, he really kind of had the aim of trying to make recruitment a bit more of a kind of a human-centric industry. I don't know, recruitment isn't always a big industry in every country, but in the UK it is quite popular, and there's a lot of kind of I guess sharky salespeople working in the sector who are very much work with employers, and will just flood them with CVs in the hope that one person in the 100 that they send over might kind of be successful and get a job. But about 3 years ago, I decided to start focusing on working with businesses and organizations tackling the climate and biodiversity crisis. So companies such as Olio, which is a great little food sharing platform, sort of headquartered, if you like, although they don't actually have an office here in the UK. Their app is global. It's great for kind of collecting food. They work with businesses to redistribute anything that might be at risk of going to waste. And they're also shifting to kind of address overconsumption. Also work with the likes of kind of World Conservation Monitoring Centre and International Union of Conservation for Nature and other organizations in those kinds of spaces, essentially to try and help them fill their vacancies. Because I'm sure probably everybody here is quite specialist in your skill set, and kind of whether that's academic and educational, or whether that's, you know, industry and kind of business centered. You know, addressing the climate crisis really does require specialists, people with deep levels of knowledge on, you know, certain topics, whether that be the textiles industry, the maritime sector, conservation, you know, data analysis, and everything in between and outside of that. So essentially I kind of use the various tools we have at our disposal to find people with relevant skills and get to know them, and try and identify people that are not only capable of kind of filling a vacancy, but also have the interest and kind of passion for the you know, making a real difference with their skills as well. Like I say, our recruitment agency is predominantly focused on sort of the technology sector, so lots of software development and things like that over recent years. But particularly myself, I am kind of expanding now to work with lots of different businesses and all kinds of different capacities. So, you know, sustainability consultants and project managers for the maritime sector, and building infrastructure and testing all kinds of new technologies and things like that. So yeah, I have been following the GSFN kind of WhatsApp chat for a while now. I suppose it is quite inspirational just seeing the kind of action that lots of people are taking day to day. And Renuka, the other day, I just kind of reached out, and we decided it might be helpful to, I suppose, share a little bit of what companies typically look for when they are recruiting. I can appreciate you might not all be, you probably aren't all looking for jobs right now. I hope you are all in sort of jobs that you value and care for. But when looking for jobs in this space, there are some really specific things that most employers, all of the ones I work with, kind of look out for. So I've written some of those down just to share them, but ultimately it's kind of cultural alignment that matters almost as much, if not more, than specific skills. So whether you're a software developer, or, you know, a data analyst, or a scientist or a researcher, it's not enough these days to just kind of say, here's a job spec and I tick these skills that are listed. It really is important to be able to kind of share your story with a business or an organization to say, this is why your mission, your products, your services resonate with me personally. And this is why I would like to kind of contribute my skills and sort of time and effort. Pretty much, like I say, pretty much all the employers I work with now are asking questions such as, you know, why are you interested in us? What does sustainability mean to you? You know, what's your level of awareness, or why are you passionate about our mission specifically? So that might be implementing renewables, it might be, you know, tackling food waste or poverty, and wanting to understand, I suppose, what your awareness of things like intersectionality is as well, because obviously the climate crisis touches on so many kind of areas, you know, kind of climate and social justice, racial justice, you know, kind of indigenous people's rights, and everything kind of intersects with each other, and we really won't do a great job of succeeding if we don't appreciate and try and carry lots of things forward at the same time. So being able to kind of share how your personal story interacts with that, whether you've experienced, you know, negative impacts of the climate crisis or racism and sexism and things like that, or whether you've kind of seen that happen. Obviously, I'm a white man, which in the UK is, as a standard bar, is kind of a level of privilege that a lot of people don't get. And I'm sure that is different in countries based on whoever is the minority in a region. But yeah, I think ultimately it's important for me to be able to say this is why it's important to me, because I've had friends, or I've had family, or I've had kind of people that I'm close to and care for experience the negative impacts of the climate crisis, whether that be flooding, drought, you know, air pollution, and all the kind of health issues that come with that. Yeah, I think it's really important whenever you're interviewing and applying for jobs as well to try and make that story clear. It's probably the biggest point, which is why I've started with it. But then there is a difference as well. So if you're actively applying for a job that is advertised and is live with a company, that's a little bit different to if you just see a company that you really like the look of and want to kind of potentially find an opportunity in the future when there is one, because not everybody's hiring right now. So if you are applying for a kind of live role, we used to say kind of putting together a cover letter is sort of pointless for most businesses, because a lot of private sector businesses do just look at your skills and then offer an interview based on that. But with the story and that side of things being so important, I would definitely say having some kind of cover letter to explain why you're interested in the business and how you align with it is definitely worthwhile. It's something that stood out for a number of the people I've worked with and managed to place into companies over the last couple of years. And then within that cover letter, you can kind of expand on not just your actual professional or academic skills, but what else you can potentially offer to the business as well, whether that be your kind of network and your connections, the people that you've worked with in the past and you know, have existing relationships with, you know, maybe scientific knowledge that you've gained in a personal capacity outside of, you know, your profession or your work, commercial experience, particularly what I've noticed, and as we're seeing investment grow in kind of the climate tech or climate solution space, lots of companies are startups. They're literally tackling problems for the very first time, or from a very different perspective than, you know, traditional finance companies that have been building investment solutions or you know, equity bonds and things like that. This is happening from a new perspective of kind of ESG and environmentally focused outcomes. So being able to kind of share commercial experience, if you've worked in small businesses, or if you've been an entrepreneur, if you set up a business, or like Renuka, you set up a community like this, being able to kind of highlight that, even though it might not be, you know, specifically at the top of your CV or your resume, a cover letter is a great place to sort of go ahead and mention those sorts of activities and communities that you're involved with. Those are probably the main things I suppose I really wanted to share, and I don't want to talk for too long, because recruitment and finding jobs is a very individual experience. One thing that I might be great at is something that somebody else might struggle with, and likewise something that Renuka or somebody else here might be an expert with might be an area that I kind of fall down and really struggle to appreciate or express. So I was quite happy, or I am quite happy, to just kind of take some questions, I suppose. I did say I'd call somebody at about 4 o'clock, but I know they're available for about an hour, so I can probably stay for another half an hour, 40 minutes if needed.
Thank you very much. Very interesting and very helpful. Because I think just now, like, people are looking for jobs, and whoever are in jobs are looking for the change. So it is not that only people who are jobless are looking for the job. And many of them think that because they have been involved in some voluntary work, they have now passion for that thing, and so also they want to change the job. So, and I would just add that do put voluntary activities also in your CV. It's highly relevant
Definitely.
nowadays because all CEO also do voluntary things nowadays, isn't it? To keep
Yeah.
them, out in the public and all that. And networking, which you mentioned, I think that is also very, very important.
Yeah, I think also what I've noticed is, you know, there are obviously some sectors in across industries that are more harmful and damaging than others. You know, gambling is a very big industry here in the UK and in the US. It employs a huge amount of people, but a lot of people kind of fall into the gambling industry because it's the first job that they can get, and they need to kind of gain experience and stuff. Obviously, oil and gas is the predominant one that is kind of leading on the destruction of our planet. But a lot of those people that have kind of worked on, you know, designing or implementing oil platforms have very, very relevant experience to, you know, renewables and the energy transition, and particularly areas like heavy industry and the maritime sector. So a lot of the businesses I've worked with, they are looking at, you know, what activities have you done outside of your work that can at least try and show that you appreciate you've maybe worked for a company that isn't having the any kind of positive impact, but you want to, because they're trying not to be too judgmental of people's kind of individual circumstances as well. So definitely include just your interests and passions, charities that you support, yeah, volunteer work that you've done, or communities that you have supported, or even just follow. Doesn't have, you know, that's not to say you need to be a speaker or leading a community. Just being a part of these things and showing that you maybe have a slightly higher level of awareness than the typical member of public. And of course, you know, the majority of people, I think now in almost every country in the world, do accept that climate change is happening and that it is caused by, or it's accelerated by, you know, human activity. But the actual level of awareness among the general population, if you like, isn't particularly high when it comes to how do I change my behaviors and what solutions should I focus on. And that's why greenwashing is such a big issue, because it's very easy to fall into the trap of believing a company are doing good when they're not. So anything that you can show or write down, again, a cover letter or CV, to demonstrate that your level of awareness is slightly higher, really will stand out.
Yeah, thank you. And connecting with yourself with the charity's ethos and other things also show that you are high on your own ethos, you know, like you will also exhibit the same ethos. That is what really important within the organization's cultures and other things, because nowadays ethical and just transition is also one of the priority for our society. Anyone else want to ask questions? Please raise your hands. I can't see anyone's hand. Oh yeah, there is one. Yes, Rania.
Yes, that was very interesting, Ben. And what about if the fresh graduates who have not yet experienced any kind of you know, scenario with the disaster, or have any, what do you expect them, or what do you would be a good impression to put on their cover letter as a story? Maybe their passion in something. Okay,
brilliant question. I think generally life is quite hard for graduates. Again, my experience, I suppose, is quite UK and somewhat European centric. So I don't know what the situation, how difficult it is for graduates to find roles in, you know, Africa, Asia, South America, and that kind of thing. But one of the questions, so for example, Olio, I mean, they are expanding globally now. They're hiring people in Mexico, in Singapore, and all kinds of different places to engage with the local communities who are going to be using their apps. And one of the kind of questions that they ask, I think in like the second stage interview, is what influences your opinion? So if you have an opinion, you know, opinions can be right and wrong, but what would influence you to change that? Is it a certain news platform? Is it a specific journalist or an influence or a thought leader? So whether you include that in your profile at the very beginning, say I'm Ben and I'm looking for a job in this sector, or this is what I'm passionate about, or even if you just kind of include it at the bottom and say, here are some hobbies. These are the kind of places that I, follow. This is where I get my news, or this is how I learn about the climate crisis and its impacts. I can appreciate lots of us will have various interests. I mean, I find, kind of regenerative agriculture and sustainable farming really interesting in the maritime sector, because it's shipping is going to be a very difficult sector to shift, and food waste again. There's lots of interest that I have, but if you have one or two that are maybe top of your list, if you have certain news platforms or even individuals, and like I say, that can be from Twitter or Instagram or wherever, if you can just name them and say, these are the people I kind of turn to because I trust them, and their opinions, and the kind of, hopefully they back up their opinions with kind of data and evidence and scientific, proof. But I think, even just putting in a few links or name dropping a few people, highlighting some of the books that you might have read, that's probably a great way around not having a huge amount of experience commercially, but obviously being very passionate and wanting to share that. The long answer, sorry.
Yes,
No,
thank you.
that's really good. Thank you. So anyone else, if you want to ask? Here we have an expert on employment, and so please ask. Yeah, Johnson, please.
Yeah, thank you, Williamson. Such an interesting topic. I have a question, but before I ask that question, I'd like to give you an idea of what's going on in Africa as regards fresh graduates that does not really have a wealth of experience. So it's like the same. Most employers here, they seek out for experienced hands, and it's really tough for fresh graduates. But recently, I was fortunate to conduct a recruitment. I'm an industrial researcher at climate action, but I wanted to carry out a small community project. So I want it driven by fresh graduates or final year students in the university. So my friend and I, a like-minded person, we set out to conduct an interview. Not to waste your time. Interestingly, it turned out that Dr. Renuka,
Yes,
can you confirm you can still hear me?
Yeah.
Interestingly, I was fascinated by the passion shown by this candidate. Zero experience, and this really made me sad a little. Multiple, countless numbers of graduates out there that are being refused of amazing opportunities because they don't have experience, but they have the passion and the will to do. So, Williamson, this takes me to my question. What do you think? What do you think, as an expert in recruitment, could be done as a game changer to at least reduce the lacuna, level the gap to a reasonable extent between the rate at which graduates are being refused of opportunities, not just in the green space, in other areas? Thank you.
Oh, that's a big question. I'm sorry, I might not be able to answer this fully, but I think I'd say the best bet probably comes from communities. I remember reading quite recently, actually, that I think by 2025 or 2030, about half of the population in Africa is going to be about the age of 18. So overall, it's going to be a very kind of young population, and there's going to be a lot of graduates, a lot of people looking for opportunities. that don't have, you know, lots of kind of commercial experience or even necessarily a really kind of fleshed out academic background. But I would say communities and building communities or sharing communities, whether those are physical and in person or whether they are online, is probably one of the best ways to sort of find solutions there. Because I mean, a chap that I know literally shared my email address with a young lady yesterday, and she's, I think she's maybe 19, 20 years old at a university in the UK, and she's kind of stumbled across a problem that a lot of students face regarding kind of not wanting to buy everything brand new, but also not wanting to throw away things that they know other people use. And she's kind of set up a business to try and implement that across universities in the UK. And that's come out of just her own drive to kind of make a difference. And I think whilst young people, graduates, might lack commercial experience and they might not have worked in many professional environments, like you say, their passion and their energy is kind of unmatched, actually, because I don't mind saying I'm 30 years old. I can appreciate I'm probably going to live to a point where I'm going to see a lot more of the negative impacts. But anybody that's, 15, 16, 18, 20 years old is going to live longer and see more of it than I am. So I think they are a little bit more driven than even the most passionate people that are my age and maybe older, because they are aware of just how much it's going to impact their life. So I think as, kind of leaders, as people that maybe those younger people look up to as mentors, as managers and things like that, we can definitely share communities. And I'm confident if they have that passion and interest, they will then engage those communities and either get involved or find other communities, because not every community is a fit for every individual, so they'll go and find the one that fits them best. I think that's the best answer I can give. It's a really tricky one because of the volume of young people that are going to be in this situation, but community feels like it can be a solution to most problems. So building and sharing those is probably quite a nice solution.
Yes,
sorry, Johnson,
much.
that's not the best answer. I wish I could give you a better answer.
Yes, but I will talk about two activities which we are starting. Maybe I was going to share after Dr. Chidi's chat, but I can share just now, which might be not directly links to what you are asking and answering, but there is a possibility of something which can be done. So now here with GSFN, two young people from young men from Africa have come to me, and we have started actually 3 groups. We have started. One is at the one has committed to educate 30,000 students in their university on SDGs, and they have started this youth, GSFN Youth, with our name and their university name. And that is why I thought that, when will people listen to him if he doesn't have any designation, and if he simply says that I'm a GSFN coordinator? I don't think it would impress people and would join them. So I gave him a title of chair. And yesterday evening, I thought about this, that I should give him some title that can allow him to get some, recognition, and people can join him. And that is how this whole idea came today. And so he is starting committed. So I can see the motivation the young people have, and we have already seen in the COP and other areas also where young people are taking so much interest and, participating. So I think this will change our, if we exponentially grow in this area, then the whole scenario will change. I don't think that everyone will gain a job out of it, but certainly the community will change, the whole landscape will change, and that might provide some more opportunities. That is what I'm looking for. So another boy, like two men here. I will have to look up the name actually about them. So one is Ibrahim Nuhu Kankia, and he has started this motivational activity there. And another one is, I will have to look again, and he is Jetinet Melesi, and the other is Benga, who is going to start on SDG and estate management. So these are the things has also, motivated me to do something more about all this. So that's all I want to share. Thank you. All right, then I will now invite Dr. Chidi.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Thakore.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, Dr. Chidi. All right, wait a second.
All right.
Dr. Chidi will talk about his one workshop. He's going to also advertise that workshop, but just now he's going to talk about the mental health series, which he is delivering to GSFN for free. So,
all right.
Welcome to the stage, and you can take the mic.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Renuka. I want to appreciate you once more. Thank you, everybody in GSFN. Happy New Year to you all. It's a nice way of starting the new year. All right. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yes, we hear you,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Yes, thank you again for this privilege of sharing with the global members of GSFN on the mental health series. It's been an interesting one, and we'll be doing that for quite a while. So today we'll just go on with the next on the series. I think the last time I spoke on the main groups of mental disorder. So today I'll be speaking on the 5 key signs of mental disorder, and then I'll take on one other smaller topic. All right. Several times, a number of people want to ask the question that how do we recognize somebody who is gradually having a mental disorder? How do we, trace it? In other words, what are the signs? What are the symptoms that we can look out for to begin to say somebody needs mental health care? Number one is any person who begins to have excessive paranoia, worry, and anxiety. That is one of the first signs of mental disorder. When we talk of paranoia, we're talking of somebody who is just unnecessarily agitated, somebody who is feeling that everybody is against him or her, somebody who is feeling that, hey, he or she is not safe. Just that kind of a feeling that is disturbing is different from somebody just being in a particular place and knowing that that environment is not safe. But this is wherein a person begins to feel unnecessarily unsafe everywhere. Amongst people, wherever he or she is going, he feels everybody's against him or her, feels everybody hates him or her, and all that. And then whenever somebody begins to feel excessively worried about anything, worried about life, worried about the future, worried about even the normal things of life, and then the person begins to go into excessive anxiety. Now, let me quickly say this. Actually, several of the things happening in the world globally right now are beginning to, like I said in the last 2 series, the last 2 times I spoke on this platform, it is Very noteworthy for us to understand that a lot of the things happening globally are actually sending people into mental disorders. A lot of the challenges people are going through, financial challenges, marital challenges, relationship challenges, and what have you. All those things are gradually moving a lot of people into mental disorder, mental challenges. But you know, a lot of times there are people who look good, they dress fine, they are smiling, and on the surface, you think, hey, this man or this woman is okay, everything about her is okay. But unknown to somebody, that person might be developing the early signs of mental disorder. So how do you know it on the surface? Excessive paranoia, like I said, excessive worrying, excessive anxiety. And even though some of these things happen, they are internal emotions, but they have a way of showing on the surface. Because when you begin to worry so much, when you begin to come under paranoia, excessive paranoia, and you're under excessive anxiety, before you know it, it begins to show up. It begins to gain outward expression on your facial look, on the way you react in the midst of people, and all that. For some people, it gets to the point where it becomes very obsessive. The person you just visibly see somebody who is shaking while sitting in the midst of people. That is one of the early signs of mental disorder. Secondly, is long-standing sadness or irritability. Long-standing sadness or irritability. Now, it is normal for somebody to feel sad when you have a misfortune, you've gone through a bad experience, or you're presently going through a bad experience. It is normal. It's part of the human nature to express sadness. Maybe somebody has just lost a loved one, lost a job, lost some amount of money, had a business breakdown, or what have you. It's normal to be sad. But when the sadness becomes a prolonged one, long-lasting one, and actually by the definition of the World Health Organization, the moment somebody begins to go through some bad, sad feelings, feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, sadness, beyond 2 weeks, that's the standard. 2 weeks, that's the yardstick that World Health Organization gave. Anything beyond 2 weeks that has been consistent, that is long-lasting, and has been the same like that in the form of sadness, hopelessness, and helplessness, the person has gradually slipped into depression. That is the yardstick. In fact, that's the benchmark that the World Health Organization gave. Any bad, sad feelings that goes on continuously beyond 2 weeks, the person has slipped into depression. So any long-lasting sadness or irritability, the moment you notice somebody around you has become sad for a very long time, and the person is becoming irritable, any small thing, maybe you just talk to the person and say, hey, leave me alone. What is the problem? I don't know. And just like that, the person just begins to be very, very irritable. And it goes on for a long time. That person is beginning to develop some mental disorder. And that person needs some help soon. The number 3, extreme changes in mood. Extreme changes in mood. Whenever somebody begins to have extreme changes in moods, by the time I start going into some deeper aspects of this series, you will understand what we mean by this. There are some mood swings. Now, actually, for women, part of their natural chemistry is that from time to time they go through mood swings, especially when women are in their monthly period and then when they are also pregnant. Part of the chemical changes in their bodies causes mood swings, which is okay, which is normal. But when it becomes extreme mood swings, especially you see somebody who is very happy in the morning, by afternoon, 12 noon, that person is now on the other extreme of mood. Somebody was very happy early in the morning at home. By afternoon, the person is very sad. Like very sad that cannot be, that looks irreversible. Then that person is beginning to go through extreme changes in mood. And when that continues for quite a while, then it begins to be part of the sense of mental disorder. There are people that have what we call duplicity in personality, that's dual personality, where the person have contrasting personalities. In the morning, the person is looking very good, sounding very good, behaving very good. By the midday upwards, the person is extremely the opposite of his or herself. And when that lasts for quite a while, that person is beginning to show signs of mental disorder. So I've talked on three things now: excessive paranoia, excessive worry, and excessive anxiety. That's number one. Number two, long-lasting sadness or irritability. And number three, excessive or extreme changes in mood, swing of mood, which we call mood swings, extreme ones. The number four, social withdrawal. Social withdrawal. This is one of the major signs of a mental disorder. When you notice somebody that is socially active, socially alive, socially very, jovial, mixes with people a lot, very outgoing and all that. And suddenly that person begins to withdraw. And as I'm saying this, I want us, every one of us, to begin to look out for these signs amongst our friends, our colleagues, our loved ones, our relations. Because a number of times, social withdrawal is a major precursor to suicide. Several people that have committed suicide, before you know it, suddenly such a person just withdraws from neighbors, withdraws from friends, withdraws from colleagues, just begins to keep to himself or to herself. Please, whenever you notice that with any of your friends, any of your relations, colleagues, neighbors, please quickly go to that person and ask questions. Begin to ask questions, engage such a person in questions. Ask the person things like, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you all right? The person might tell you he or she is okay, but as you probe further, you will notice that that person is not okay. That person is up to something. And soon, if that person is not helped, you might soon hear that the person suddenly committed suicide and left a suicide note. So please, let's all be on the watch out for this sign called social withdrawal. It's a major sign of somebody who has gone into mental disorder. And like I said earlier, it's a major precursor to suicide. So whenever you notice such, start engaging that person, start talking with that person. And if much help cannot come from you to that person, please engage experts. You can engage some of us to start talking with the person, engage experts, engage professional counselors, therapists, and all that. That person needs help. And even some of us who are listening right now, anytime you notice that you are beginning to have a tendency for social withdrawal unnecessarily, of course, there might be a time you want to withdraw for a little while to attend to certain things, personal things, or to have a personal retreat, to have a personal time of just being alone, of meditation or what have you. That's okay for a while. But when it lingers and it becomes part of the person's lifestyle for a while, something is wrong somewhere. And that person should seek for help urgently, because like I said, social withdrawal is a major precursor to suicide tendencies and suicide attempts and actual suicide act. All right. The number 5 is dramatic changes in eating and sleeping patterns. Dramatic changes in eating and sleeping patterns. The moment you notice somebody is beginning to sleep unnecessarily or engage in excessive eating, that person is developing some mental disorder. Those 2 key things: dramatic changes in sleeping patterns, and dramatic changes in eating patterns. It's a major sign of mental disorder. The moment a person begins to develop a voracious tendency of just eating, like as if the person is obsessed for food, it's a signal that something is going on in that person's mind. It's a major sign of, mental disorder. And the moment somebody notices that he or she is beginning to sleep excessively beyond normal, it's also a major sign of mental disorder. On the flip side of it, the moment somebody also notices that he or she is not having enough sleep, tendency to have less amount of sleep is also a signal to mental disorder. And that is why we encourage people to make time to have enough sleep. Actually, it's been advised that as adults should have between 6 to 8 hours of sleep every day. Now, I know that for several of us, maybe because of our professional engagements and all that, several people sleep less. And that is why a number of people begin to come down with stress and gradually slip into mental disorder, especially depression. So irrespective of our professional assignments and responsibilities, we need to make our time to have enough sleep. In fact, it's been encouraged that once in a while, within the daytime, during your break period, it's good to take a nap, a short nap. It relaxes the brain, it relaxes the muscles, it relaxes the nerves, and helps a person to make up for the night sleep that one is not able to get completely. For some of us who are professionals, especially academics, like some of us, you find that at times you might be writing into the night, preparing materials into the night, reading into the night, and what have you. And at the end of the day, you just have 3 or 4 hours of sleep. That is not good enough. It's not good enough, because before you know it, the system, the body system begins to cry out. And before you know it, the body will begin to react in the form of stress, and gradually that person might slip into mental disorder. So some of these things, it's better we prevent them rather than getting into them on a very serious note. Okay, just giving those 5 components or signs for mental disorder. I'm almost tempted to go into the other components of good mental health, but I think I might leave that for the next series. So maybe I will entertain questions. But before I do that, before we take questions, since it's a series, we are not in a hurry. So we'll just be taking this bit by bit. Every time we come to speak, we'll just take some portions of this series, ask questions, and we'll be done for that day and then till next month or so. So let me quickly introduce the program. There is a program, a workshop that we have planned, and it's called Strategic Planning and Goal Setting Workshop. Dr. Renuka will show us the flyer on the stage. It's a global program. That's it on the, that's it. It's a global program for all organizations and all individuals to key into it. The essence of it is that at this early stage, early part of the year, this is the best time for organizations to have their strategic planning, to re-strategize, re-engineer the programs, restructure it, and then map out strategies for the year. Okay? Map out strategies for the year for them to be on top. A lot of organizations are doing that around this season. So we have come out also with this. This is a world-class workshop with goal setting also. A number of people have started trying to key into it. So the major part of it for the global audience will be, it will be virtual on Zoom and all that. The fees, it has fees attached to it. There is fees on the flyer for those who will be coming on Zoom, and then for those who will be inviting us to come to their locations where it is convenient for us to go, especially within this travel restriction periods. We can go there. So the fees are on the flyer. For those who are on site, it's just $1,500 for each participant. It will be running through for 1 week, except for organizations that will ask us maybe to shorten it to 3 days, which is also possible. And then for those online, it is $1,200. It will be certificated. Okay, it's actually a power-packed workshop, and it's going to introduce people into great tools for organizational development. The topics to be considered are shown right there on the screen. All right, so you can start keying in because a number of people have already started making inquiries and people are already getting set. For the global audience on the Zoom, we are waiting to have the sizable number. Some people have already started getting ready, so we ask them to wait so that we can get the other people who will be keying in globally from different countries and all that for the Zoom. Then we will agree on the date. We do not want to impose any particular date on people. We want to have all the people within the next 1-2 weeks. We are giving up to the end of this January, and then we will know those who have decided to register. Those who have registered, then we will decide on the date with everybody. We want to choose dates that are convenient for every participant. We will choose that and then kick off the workshop. All right. So let me pause a while for questions.
Thank you very much. I do not have a particular question today. Anyone else? Anyone wants to ask question?
Yes, either questions either on the series, the mental health series I just discussed, or question on the workshop that is coming, the global workshop.
Yes, anyone have question on the workshop? No. How many days did you say? I think I missed, or like how many days will be the workshop? Is it only 1 day workshop?
No. It's 5 working days. It's actually supposed to be from Monday to Friday. Yes.
Okay, 5 working days.
Yes.
Okay, it is not mentioned on your leaflet, so it would be good to put that on the leaflet. It says 10 to 3 daily, but it doesn't say 5 days. Oh yeah, there is 3 days. No. Right. So it would be helpful to put 5 days.
Okay, but I think there are 3 days that are there. Is
3
it?
days to be determined by the organizations and participants. So that is
Yes. The minimum is actually 3 days, but there are some organizations that at times they will say we should stretch it for them so that it won't be too jam-packed. We do that. Yes, but the minimum is 3 days.
Right. All right. And as you mentioned, people will be accredited as well.
Yes, please.
Wonderful, wonderful. So congratulations on this workshop. And I don't think anyone has a question for now. But if anything comes to me, I will pass it to you. So thank you very much for this. And thank you very much for the talk as well. It is very interesting.
Thank you.
I know, and I did ask you questions before, so I don't want to repeat that, but I'm always concerned with the, the fast, our society is changing very fast. And in this change, many of them may not be comfortable and feel anxiety and other things, and therefore it impacts their mental health, isn't it? And so there is a role for the family, friends, and others also to play here very much to support such things. But the question again here is, when do we know that this person has a mental problem rather than just affecting the change or anything? I cannot find the distinguish between these two. Like it cannot be found difference between these two.
That's okay. That's when we can say somebody's already having a mental problem.
Sorry?
Please, could you repeat it? Is it the difference between when the person is just exhibiting the symptoms or when the person has become fully having a mental?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right, great. Now, just like I said, some of these signs I mentioned, these are the initial signs that shows that a person is beginning to have mental disorder. Now, when it is left unattended to by professionals, it becomes very visible. It becomes very visible, okay? And it becomes to the point where that person might gradually begin to constitute a nuisance to people around, okay? At such an instance, it becomes very visible. Then when you see the person, you know that this person is having a mental issue. Just the person is struggling within himself or herself, okay? So, but after a while, because it's not attended to, it begins to increase and increase and increase to the point where you can visibly see it. Let me give you an example. If you're sitting at a station, maybe a bus station or train station, or in a program, you're attending a program, and somebody sits near you, and you can see that person is visibly shaking, and you can't explain why this person is visibly shaking out of every other person around. On a very close look, and after discussion, you might find out that person is beginning to come up with extreme cases of mental disorder because it's not been attended to, so it has become full-blown. For some people, like I said, when a person begins to eat obsessively, you just finish eating now, in the next less than 1 hour, you're eating again. In the next 1 hour, you're eating again. The next 1 hour, you're eating again.
I think there's a problem of internet. So anyway, I have now only, I think there's a problem of internet.
Oh, okay,
So
you're not hearing me.
we couldn't hear you, but anyway, we can continue this discussion next time. So
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All
And
right. Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you. And
Thank you.
now, if anyone has any question about what I said today, they can ask me, or otherwise, I think we have plenty of social channels and also many other things I will be sharing afterwards, after the meeting. And so please look out for that, and all of you keep engaged, and I'm sure together we can make this happen. So thank you very much for joining